Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Today is Fun Friday, so today is my Fun Friday video. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is KuanYin, and I'm here 3 times a week uploading videos for you guys. On Mondays, I do a card pull for the week to get a little energy reading, and on Wednesdays, I choose a topic usually around law of attraction or abundance or personal development of some sort or mental health. And on Fridays, I try to make a nice, fun, uplifting video. And today I came out to the neighboring woods and decided to do some yoga for you. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it around. If you're new here and not already subscribed, you can consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that notification bell so you get notified of all the fun videos that I put up for you. All right. So let's get started in the yoga. Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm interrupting my video for a minute here to give a special announcement. I'd like you to stick around to the end of the video. I make a special announcement about a 7-day yoga challenge, and there's a prize involved. So you want to hear the ending of this video. Just letting you know. Thank you. Enjoy. So the brand of yoga that I do, I call Embodiment Yoga. It's a style that's compiled from my 200-hour course that I took at Yoga Farm in Lansing, New York, a wonderful group of people. I will link their info down below. Now, during these times, they're doing a lot of online courses, so wherever you're watching this from, you can join in on their yoga courses, and they're wonderful. And they do them on Facebook and on their own website. And I also took training through Liberation Prison Yoga, which has some trauma-informed style yoga in there. And I'll link down below to that so you can support them if that interests you. They go into the prison systems, usually around the New York City area. They go into Rikers and some other prisons downstate New York and bring yoga to the people that are imprisoned there. So what is embodiment yoga? Embodiment yoga is a style that I've come up with where I use a lot of the different techniques that I've learned from several different courses. And I don't give commands in my yoga classes. I don't do physical hands-on touching or adjustments in my yoga classes because everyone has some trauma history. You don't know what that trauma history is walking in. It could be someone on the playground when you were a kid on the seesaw, jumped off it as you were up in the air and you fell. That could cause trauma history that you don't know about that causes muscle memory of tensing up your body whenever you feel like you're falling, for example. And you don't actually need to know what that trauma is in order to be able to heal it with muscle memory. All you need to know is that your body has certain responses. So my version of yoga that I implement helps people become more aware of their bodies in circumstances and your body's responses in different circumstances and different scenarios. If you had your arm pulled when you were a young child and it hurt your shoulder, it might be that every time you reach out in that direction, you might get a little twinge in your shoulder. You might wonder what your chronic shoulder issue is. It could be your body just remembering that trauma. Whether it was an intentional trauma or not doesn't even matter. Whether it was actual abuse or just your mom pulling you out of the road like that. So my brand of yoga is to listen to our bodies and just see what our bodies are telling us. Learn to feel our bodies, because a lot of times we forget how to feel our own bodies and feel for that inner knowledge that our bodies, our muscles have for us. All right, so as I started to say, I don't give commands because some people with their trauma backgrounds don't do well with commands. And I know a lot of yoga classes you go in and they say, okay, stand nice and tall, feet firmly planted, roll your shoulders back, tuck your chin, and very command-based. I don't do too well with command style yoga myself. And I've always found myself a little bit uneasy in those courses, but not really knowing why. And when I took the Liberation Prison Yoga and the other trauma-informed style yoga courses, I discovered why. Because commands feel icky to me. And having someone stand up and go through their own practice stating what they do, that really helped me out to become comfortable in my own body, becoming more comfortable to be able to do the yoga and being invited to do what I feel I know is best for my body. Felt good. So those are the style courses that I like to go to, and those are the classes that I teach. But let's get started here. So I like to start out by just feeling my feet on the ground. Perhaps doing a few steps just to settle my feet in and feeling my feet firmly planted on the ground here. I like to close my eyes and go inward for a little bit at the start of my practice. And I'm just paying attention to whatever feelings, physical feelings come up, emotional feelings too, if they happen to stop by. I'll pay them some mind and then go back to the thinking on the physical feelings. So with my eyes closed, I feel my feet firmly planted on the ground. There's a rock under my foot. So I'm going to shift a little bit over. And my feet are a little bit wider than the normal mountain pose stance, perhaps about hip width apart. And I'm feeling the bottoms of my feet pressing into the earth. The earth is holding me up nice and steady. Just noticing how my body normally wants to position itself here. And I'm standing directly over both legs with my weight fairly evenly distributed. Some days I find that I'm wanting to lean on one leg or the other. Just noticing where I am for today. My shoulders are a little bit drooping forward right now. And there's no judgment here. And I'm loosening up my neck a little bit. Just doing some gentle half circles with my neck right now, because that feels good. And I'm noticing my breath. Where does my breath lay right now? Is it shallow? Am I taking deep breaths? Am I pulling the air into my upper chest or into my belly or somewhere else? Just noticing right now. And I'm going to roll my shoulders up toward my ears and back, because that's what feels good for me right now, and I find that I have a nice straighter spine. And I find that my shoulders are able to roll up and back when I put my palms facing forward. And I'm letting my shoulders drop away from my ears right now. Nice straight spine. And I'm finding that my tailbone is sticking back a little bit, so I'm going to tuck my tailbone in and pull my feet a little bit closer together. See how that feels for me right now. Pulling up out of the crown of my head, and I'm naturally allowing my breath to deepen. Paying attention to my legs right now. What are my leg muscles doing? I can experiment here and tighten my leg muscles, pulling my leg muscles into the bones, allowing my legs to be nice and strong like a mountain. So I'm finding myself with my tailbone tucked and my shoulders rolled back, pulling up out of the crown of my head with my legs nice and strong, finding myself naturally into the mountain pose, because that's what feels good for me right now. And being a nice strong mountain, here standing on this mountain, allowing my breath to deepen. Now I'm going to put a hand on my belly, and I'm going to do a couple of deep breaths here, pulling into the air into my belly, allowing it to rise up my chest, filling my lungs entirely. And then as I pause at the top, I'm going to allow the breath to empty the way it came in, emptying from the upper chest, middle chest, and then finally pulling my belly toward my spine. So I'm going to have a hand on my heart and a hand on my belly to feel where my breath is entering. And I'm going to be silent as I do just a few breaths. And now shaking out my arms, shaking out my legs, letting my breath return to a natural, what it wants to do. And I'm finding that I'm wanting to just do a little swaying here and doing like an empty coat sleeves practice. So I'm widening my stance because that just feels good for me. Finding what's comfortable distance for my feet. So I'm just swaying from leg to leg, twisting a little bit, allowing my arms to be completely empty, allowing my arms to just flow where they want to, as though I'm wearing a coat without my arms in the sleeves, and the coat sleeves are just flapping where they want to flap. And as I'm doing this, I'm experimenting where I want my head to go, looking over each shoulder as I'm twisting, seeing how that feels, seeing if I want to twist my head maybe just a little bit more, looking more consciously behind me as I'm twisting. Allowing my breath to continue nourishing my body with that nice rich oxygen that all these beautiful trees all around us are providing. Nice clean fresh air. And it's okay if you lose your balance a little bit. This is our own personal practice here. And if it feels good and you want to do a little bit more, perhaps you can raise your toes up to get a little bit more into the stretch. Or maybe the way that you're standing might feel better to raise your heels up. So just experimenting with this and finding what works for you today. And you can get as vigorous as you want with this, going a little faster. Perhaps even allowing your hands to tap your shoulders as you do it, or tap your back a little bit, raising your hands up, tapping the back. Perhaps giving yourself a pat on the back of the shoulder. We all deserve a good pat on the back of the shoulder now and then. And from here, I'm going to slow this down a little bit and go into some tapping here on my arms, waking up my skin. So I woke up my spine with a little gentle twisting, and now I'm waking up the rest of my body here. Nice morning practice. Tapping my chest region, tapping my head, my face, my scalp. Giving myself an all-over pat down. My sides, my belly, my back, thighs, front and back of the legs. Just waking myself up, giving my body some nice love pats, because I love my body so much. It does so much for me every single day. It allows me to work through my day and do so many amazing things. We got to take care of our bodies and love our bodies just as we are. You know, I'm not sucking in my gut for this video here, but I love this body here, so Doesn't matter. All right, so shaking all that out and releasing it. Shaking out my legs and my arms. And then I'm going to come to stillness here and get a little bit more oxygen going in my body. So I'm going to raise my arms up overhead with a big inhale and exhaling them back down. And I'm going to do this practice a few times, being silent so I can do my breathing with it. You're welcome to join me or find some other movement that might nourish your body. Okay, and now I'm going to pause when I get to the top and really reach for that branch over my head. Perhaps try to reach for it with one hand and the other. Getting a nice stretch here, perhaps like you're climbing a ladder. And getting nice and tall as I stretch. Finding a good place for my neck. If it doesn't feel good to be looking straight up, I don't have to be looking up toward that rung on the ladder. Finding a neutral place for my neck that feels good. And pausing, stretching straight up now. I'm going to give myself a mini back bend because that feels good, so I'm going to clamp my hands together and just lean back and back up. And then perhaps leaning to my right. Keeping my feet firmly planted, trying to see if I can keep my balance equal on both feet as I move. Getting a nice stretch in this side body here. That's the movement I'm looking for today. Pausing for a few breaths. Coming back up to center and gently going back over to the other side. Again, feet are firmly planted on the earth. Nice strong earth holding us up. She's always there for us, holding us up. Getting a nice stretch in this side of my body. Coming back up to center and another mini little back bend if that feels good. Big inhale and exhaling my arms back down and shaking that out. All right. How about a forward fold? I feel like a forward fold right now, so I'm going to inhale my arms up overhead. And exhale as I fold forward, hinging from my hips and dropping. And I can place my hands on both sides of my feet on the ground for stability. Or if it feels good, I can have my arms just dangling. I can even grab opposite elbows or grab my legs. And I'm going to find the position that works for me today as I allow my upper body to completely relax, allowing my head to just completely dangle. And just allow gravity, allow that Mother Earth energy, the gravity, to do its magic here. Allowing my upper body to relax, knowing my legs are nice and strong. You can have a slight bend to your knee. A slight bend to your knee might do you some good in this pose, allowing you to release that upper body even more. Finding the position that works well for you. Nod your head yes and no. See how loose it is. Play around a little bit here, bouncing. And then on an inhale, I'm coming half up with a straight back. And then exhaling back down. Inhaling and bending my knees. And raising back up, hands to the heavens, palms together, and palms back to heart center. I'm going to try this one more time as a nice flow energy here. Inhaling, arms up overhead, and exhaling. I'm going to swan dive down into my forward fold. However you get there is wonderful. Slight bend to the knees as I allow my upper body to completely relax. And inhaling, bending my knees and pushing into my nice strong legs as I Stand back up, arms up overhead, hands together and palms to heart center. One more time here. Inhaling, arms up overhead and folding forward. Slight bend to the knees as I completely relax my upper body. And I'm going to inhale, half lifting with a straight back. And exhaling back down. Inhaling, bending those knees nice and strong and raising back up into palms together to heart center. And shaking that out a bit as I widen my stance, wider than hip width apart, finding a nice, comfortable positioning that feels good for me. And then I'm going to turn my left foot facing sideways and allow my right foot to be pointing just a little bit at an angle, almost front, but a little bit forward. And finding a nice position here. And I'm going to see where my hips naturally want to face. And seeing if I could perhaps turn my hips to face toward the front here. As I bend that front knee. And I can raise my arms up parallel and look out over that front hand. And pausing here for a few breaths, making sure I'm taking those nice deep breaths. Taking in that wonderful gift from the trees that they're giving me called oxygen. That's nourishing every muscle, fiber, cell in my body right now. Pausing here for a few. And I'm going to lower my back hand as I raise my front hand, palm up toward the sky, looking up into the trees, the beautiful trees here, beautiful network of branches. Nature is so beautiful with all of the patterns and the lovely colors, the green colors I'm seeing, light green as the sun streaming through and dark green. Taking a few nice deep breaths. And coming back with my arms parallel. Going to lean forward here, putting my elbow to my knee, my front elbow to my knee, raising my back hand up, and I'm going to circle it forward so that my arm rests right over my ear. Again, finding a good neutral spot for my head. Could be looking downward or straight or up toward the sky. Pausing here for just a few breaths. And then inhaling back up with arms parallel. And I'm going to straighten that front knee. I'm going to pivot. Actually, first I'm going to reach forward with my front hand, putting my back hip toward the back and back of me. And then I'm going to pivot and put my hand on my shin, raising that back hand straight up, making a nice triangle here. And if this doesn't feel good, if you have a block or something you could hold on to, that could help you out. Or you could do it a little higher up or with your feet a little closer together, finding the position that feels good for you right now. Inhaling, coming back up to center and then back into my warrior pose here. Lowering my arms and allowing them to swing. I'm going to shift my feet to the other side and do the same thing on the other side. So now this foot is facing to the side and my back foot is facing almost forward, a little bit at an angle here. As I bend the front knee, my hips are going here, so I'm going to consciously think of turning my hips to face front as I bring my arms up, looking out over that front hand. And if that doesn't feel good, you can keep your head neutral. However, it feels good for you. Breathing some nice breaths here. And I like to check down and see if my knee is pointing forward. If it is, I like to see if I can move it back in alignment so that I can see my big toe down there. Now I'm lowering my back arm, putting my front arm up toward the sky and gazing up at that beautiful sky, looking at all the beautiful treetops filtering the sunlight down. So beautiful. All the different variations of green up there. It's so beautiful. Coming back, and I'm going to move forward, putting my elbow to my knee, and then swinging that arm around so that the arm is right over the ear. Remembering to take some nice deep breaths as I'm working through these poses. And now coming back up into our warrior, straightening that front knee, and I'm going to rotate with my hand on my shin and my back hand straight up, making a nice triangle form here. Nice deep breaths as I hold this. Coming back up to center. And shaking that out, maybe doing some leg marches here. And getting all nice and loosey-goosey. All right, so one more big breath in as I stand with my feet together is what feels good for me right now. I'm going to raise my arms up overhead. And exhale back down and do a few more of these right now because this feels good for me. And I'm going to get my knees involved here and really make this a full body movement. Nice, good flow. My next inhale, arms up overhead, hands together, lowering them to heart center. All right. I hope you've enjoyed my mini little yoga session here, my mini workout. And I have very many variations of this I can do. I can do some relaxation ones. I can do more vigorous exercises. If you guys would like another yoga video, please comment down below what you would like to see, whether it's a more vigorous workout or something more relaxing, perhaps a bedtime yoga routine. So this was just a nice fun way to get your body warmed up for the day. And I invite you on a 7-day yoga challenge. All right, and if you comment down below next week that you have completed yoga every single day for 7 days in a row, either by following this cute little video or following another video or doing your own poses, doing some form of yoga movement every single day for 7 days. Comment down below how that went for you. Comment down below how that felt, whether it made any difference in your day, any difference in your week. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to be choosing one of you at random who have commented down below and giving you a special gift. I'm not sure what it is right now, but it will be something special just for you. So if you're interested, please join me on my 7-day yoga challenge. And all that being said, I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing down below and all that. Sharing this video nice and far and wide. And I wish you all a beautiful and amazing fun Friday. All right, go enjoy today and have a wonderful day. Namaste. So my brand of yoga is called good spot. So my brand of yoga that I do is integrative, blah, 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 blah.